Now, a very Australian business, Brickworks Limited, announced a net profit of $139 million today, 55% down on the previous year. The company's long-standing cross-shareholding with Washington H. Soul Pattinson, this year at least, weighed down Brickworks' otherwise solid performance. I spoke to Chairman Robert Millner a short time ago. Robert Millner, welcome to Lateline Business.
Thank you.
Let's go to the overall profits first. They were down quite significantly over last year. Can you provide a bit of background around that?
Yes. Well, this time last year, New Hope Corporation, which Washington H. Soul Pattinson owned 60% of, had sold the new Saraji asset to BMA for $2.5 billion. So obviously there was $1.3 billion less in cash, and also the same period last year, coal prices were $125 US, and this financial year they're only $70 US. So that is the reason for the downturn in profit.
It's a complicated little arrangement with the cross-shareholdings between Soul Pattinson and Brickworks. But it's interesting that without the Saraji coal, you actually dropped 19%, I think, your profits. And yet the market value of your shareholding in Soul Patts went up 18%. From an investor's point of view, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the capital growth in Soul Patts or the profits that they can deliver?
Well, I think as a shareholder, you're keen to have both, because if you can get increased dividends, that's obviously positive for the shareholders. And again, as I mentioned before, with the price of coal, that's the main reason why we're actually down 20%.
The impact of the US dollar has been significant, obviously, this year, and we're now at close to parity. How is that going to play going forward?
Well, obviously, anybody exporting, as you said, a high dollar is not favourable. Fortunately, we hedge about 60% of our export tonnage, so at 95 cents it's not attractive for us, but we have some quite good hedging in place. But we don't need 95 cents all year, because it'll certainly affect our profits. But on the other side of the coin, we are getting about $98 US for our coal, so we have an increase in the price of coal being offset by a higher dollar.
The Arrow Energy sale has now in gone through, but that's not in these accounts, is it?
No.
So that will be a positive for next year.
Both New Hope and Washington H. Soul Pattinson paid a special dividend, because New Hope actually received the cash on the 23rd of August. So as you said, but the profit will not be booked till next year.
How do you see the outlook for your portfolio of investments that you're exposed to over the next 12 months?
Obviously, apart from New Hope, all our other investments, we have 8 publicly listed investments ranging from coal mining to telecommunications, pharmacy and brickmaking. Apart from New Hope, all our other investments were up, and I think at this stage, I think New Hope will have increased profits, and I'm very confident the other business will have increased profits as well. So we're looking at quite a good year coming ahead.
Well, let's get back to bricks.
Yes.
Bricks were a strong result from the Building Products Group. Was that largely the Building the Education Revolution program?
Yes, that has helped, and also at the start of the year we still had the first homeowners. There was a social security housing that has come through, and Victoria has been very strong. 1 in 3 new houses in Australia are now being built in Victoria. So Victoria has been very strong. We've seen an increase in New South Wales and South Australia, but Queensland and Western Australia have slowed a little bit.
Now, why is that?
Basically, in Queensland, it's very similar to what's happened in New South Wales over the previous years. The government have increased the charges on blocks of land, whereas once upon a time a developer would develop an area, he would curb and gutter it, and the government would come in and put the police stations and the hospitals, etc., on that land. But now the governments are passing those charges onto the developer, so the developer has to put that onto a block of land. So you might have bought a block of land for $200,000. Nowadays it could be costing you $300,000 or more, because we have to pay for the government charges, which makes it harder for the homeowner.
Given your exposure to the BER program, do you have a view on how that program was run?
Well, it's obviously been a great success for Brickworks, particularly in New South Wales. I think we've had about 75% of the market, and Victoria is only just starting to happen. But it's been a good deal for us, but I don't know if it's been a great deal for the country.
Your outlook overall is long-term positive, short-term quite soft. How does that translate to a guidance for next year?
Well, we don't give guidance because we have so many different investments, but as I mentioned earlier, we're very confident we can have another good year. Obviously, as far as New Hope goes, we don't like the high dollar, as I mentioned before, but we're quietly confident that some of our other investments will come through as well.
And how does the prospect of a possible 1.25% rise in interest rates by the end of next year play in?
Yeah, well, obviously not very good for the housing industry, and I guess not very good for inflation figures, which will run through the country as well. We're already seeing quite horrific electricity charges in New South Wales, so this is only going to fuel inflation, I would have thought.
But notwithstanding that, quite buoyant, really. Rob Millner, thank you very much for talking to Late Line Business.
Thank you. Good night.